And welcome to the Raw Preview. We are the Dudley Boys of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, not joined by Michael Hamflett or Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture, courtesy of Wacky Summer. But anyway, I am here to look ahead to tonight's episode of Raw. But before I get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. We do Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, not joined by Hamflett or Sidgwick to look ahead to Raw tonight, but they are, I suppose, here in spirit somewhat. This is all courtesy of Wacky Summer, as I mentioned, both away on holiday, as they are going to be for the next week or so. We'll be soldiering through for the next couple of days. But no, I'm starting off with Sweet Chin Disco. But don't worry, we have loads of content scheduled to go out, so you'll still get your Dudley Boys fix in the coming few days. But it's just going to be me talking to myself and occasionally Adam Nicholas with regards to Raw, SmackDown, and best of all, an NXT preview with just me and maybe a special guest tomorrow. We shall see about all that. But yes, lots to look forward to on the road to Clash in Paris. And don't forget, if you're going to Clash in Paris, join us for the Paris after party at Club Houseman. If you want tickets to Sweet Chin Disco, we are doing 9 dates across the UK, Ireland, and France. Tickets still available at dice.fm, although some of the shows are very nearly sold out. Right, that's that plug over. Let's look ahead to Raw tonight. And I suppose the big question, aside from the whole Seth Rollins vision angle that is ongoing, is what is going on with Naomi? It's a weird situation to sort of speculate about because you don't really, I certainly don't feel comfortable saying what a lot of people are saying online with regards to the reasoning for her sudden absence and lack of clearance to work in ring. She's going to clarify it all tonight, so I'm not going to sit here and necessarily speculate as to what it is, whether it's an injury or something else that is causing this absence. But it's very interesting to see how they handle this, especially because she's a heel, and writing someone off automatically babyfaces them. I mean, obviously, people are huge fans of Naomi. I'm including all this. As much as I can accept that what she's doing is heelish, I love her, and I was going into Clash in Paris at least thinking that as much as I think Stephanie Vaquet is a real talent for the future, I didn't think this was the moment to take the title off Naomi. Now, the speculation is what it is, so let's assume, because if she's fine, then she's fine, and we just go ahead with Naomi versus Vaquer at Clash in Paris. But let's go the other way. Let's assume she is gone for an extended period of time. I was sitting thinking, right, well, how do you handle this, and what do you do going forward? Because obviously there was the IYO SKY angle to all this, although I think she's going to go in a different direction, which I'll get to in a second. Stephanie Vaquer has her title shot. That is unquestionable. For me, it's really easy. You have Naomi vacate the title if she has to go away for a while, and it is vacant. You don't put it on someone. You just say it's up for grabs. And you know what? Stephanie Vaquer is going to face Roxanne Perez because Roxanne Perez pinned IYO SKY last week with regards to what happened with Asuka and Kairi Sane, which, again, I'll get to. And for me, big picture stuff here, again, as much as I thought Naomi should retain against Stephanie Vaquer, I also now still wouldn't put the title on Stephanie Vaquer because I feel like the moment for her could be even bigger at, say, a WrestleMania if she, let's say, took it off Rhea Ripley, which I think is the big match that people are hoping for WrestleMania next year. Now, to get to that, you kind of have to work backwards. I'd put it on Perez. I know they've been doing stuff with the tag titles with them, but, you know, if you are fantasy booking some big Liv Morgan return way down the line when, of course, she has recovered from that horrible injury she suffered. Who better than to cost her in the big title match than a returning Liv Morgan to set up that match, Liv versus Raquel, with Liv Morgan as a surprise babyface. And perhaps you could have Rhea Ripley win that title off Roxanne in that match, wherever it may be, whether it be a few months or even, you know, at the start of 2026. And then you can just have the dream match, in my opinion, Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer, without having burned through already Vaquer winning the title. Although, you know, if you're thinking, well, the only reason we weren't putting it on Vac Air is because Naomi's run was kind of more important for the time being, I can see them pivoting and just putting it on Vac Air in Paris because it's going to be a great show. God, next weekend or a week on Sunday. Yes.
I feel like you should know this if you're going to be going away.
Actually, my dates are all over the place. Someone was asking me about this at Eric's second birthday over the weekend. Like, oh, cool. So where are you going? And I was like, well, we're going Glasgow. Then we're going Dublin. Then at some point we're going to London. And then just a whole load of like Manchester and Leeds and a few others. All the dates are on my socials if you want to join us for that. Yeah, we're not just doing the WWE shows. We're doing the AEW shows as well. And those shows will have the likes of Nana, Nigel McGuinness, and Swerve at them. And there's a special discount for WhatCulture fans. You can just need to go to the link that is all over socials for that one if you want to come to our post-Dynamite and Forbidden Door shows. But this is the Raw preview. Why are we talking about AEW? Sidge isn't even here. But if he was here, I'm sure he'd say, if he was, he'd take the piss out of the fact I spoke wrongly there and probably said, hey, Adam, I've changed my mind. I think Raw's pretty good. That's how he sounds, of course.
Famously.
And then he'd also say something like, Wilbourn, you're my best friend. And I'd be like, oh, you're my best friend as well. And halfway we're like, oh, what about me? Well, we're all best friends here. God, I miss them. But
why do they both speak the same? I'm
yeah,
confused.
well, this is the thing. You know, they're all from around here, aren't they? They talk the same, don't they?
So I mean, that's exactly how they talk
Yeah.
around here. That's exactly how we talk around here, Wilbourn.
So, IYO SKY obviously is another contender. You could just put this title on if Naomi is vacating it. But I feel like all the reports seem to point into they are turning Asuka heel a lot quicker than they were hoping for as a result of Naomi's absence. And I'm kind of fine with it, to be honest. Asuka versus IYO SKY is a hell of a feud going forward, especially with the sort of Kairi saying, oh, but I like both of them. Which way do I go in this post-title reign for IYO SKY? Because she's had an amazing year, IYO, of course. Asuka versus IYO could be fun. IYO is actually in action tonight against Raquel Rodriguez. So you could arguably, again, do Asuka accidentally / deliberately costing her this match, and this being the sort of final straw for those two. Or maybe it's Kairi that costs her this time. And the seeds are being planted. Basically, I've created this scenario in my head, as wrestling fans often do, and now if it doesn't come to fruition, I'll be angry, despite the fact that WWE or any wrestling company have never said, oh, this is the direction we're going to be going in. I want Asuka and IYO, or Kairi and IYO, or Asuka and Kairi versus IYO to be a sort of relatively long-running feud, because you get some great matches out of it, and who could possibly become IYO's partner fighting against the Kabuki Warriors? It's Rhea Ripley, if you're not doing the stuff that I mentioned with the Roxanne Perez angle, because I really like that as a new direction for them. And I could see them, if you're not doing Rhea in the singles title picture going forward, tag champs, IYO and Rhea, I think would be really, really exciting. The moment that Hamlet sort of suggested that as a possible thing, I've not been able to escape how amazing and how popular that would be. And you can do this sort of fun feud down the road if they're still in this situation of two odd couples, Rhea and IYO versus Alexa and Charlotte, maybe even for the tag titles, and we saw this quite a lot in matches on NXT, with the sort of understanding of going into matches, well, if you lose, you're probably just going to turn on your partner, and there's going to be a singles feud coming off the back of it. And again, all four of those women, I think, set for big things at next year's WrestleMania. Speaking of next year's WrestleMania, obviously the Vision are going to play a big part of all this. Well, if Seth is still carrying the title heading into Las Vegas again, next year. Now, I've got to support WhatCulture's very own Scott Carlson, who made a very valid point with regards to the amount of DQs and non-finishes we've been getting on Raw recently. Doesn't inspire me with great confidence that we're getting Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker tonight, ahead of course, that fatal four-way at Clash in Paris. It is Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso versus CM Punk versus LA Knight.
Yeah.
For the World Heavyweight Championship. And with, a couple of Raws to go, you could easily see this ending in a schmoz, in a DQ. But I would have Jey Uso win here, just to sort of reestablish the fact that he's a former world champion, and Bron Breakker is, getting there. They've also had some really good matches in the past, obviously, over that IC title. I think arguably one of Jay's best matches over the last few years was with Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't need any more. I don't mind interference. I was a fan of the Bloodline story. I'm kind of fine with all that. But I don't need any more non-finishers, especially with the sort of spate of them, as Sitch pointed out last week, particularly on Raw, I think it was, or across Raw and SmackDown at least. So, yeah, have your Bronson Reed interference, your Seth Rollins interference, but counteract that with Punk and Knight, and then just have Jey Uso beat Bron Breakker, because you can excuse that away, in my opinion. Or you could even partially lean in just for a split second. You don't want to go anywhere near it just yet. But the implication from Seth, if Bron loses, of like, oh, you're a bit of a weak link in the vision, or you're not quite there yet. You suddenly think you're this, contender to my throne because I'm not here for a few weeks faking a knee injury. Well, you've got a lot to learn, boy. So, yeah, I'd hope this gets a finish. I sense it's going to be the main event, obviously, with the personnel involved. And I'll talk about it a lot on the SmackDown review with regards to this week's episode. I'm just having a lot of fun with multi-person, weird conglomeration of friends that we're getting in the sort of main event. And I know it's a Sidgwick bugbear. It doesn't really bother me as much as for him, the whole, what would have been the main event if this hadn't been thrown together by the GM? I get it, and I understand, and he appreciates that with his wrestling, particularly when it comes to something like AEW Dynamite. I'm less bothered. At the end of the day, if it excites the crowd, they know they're getting a bit of a nice surprise, and you can sort of sit here and speculate on that sort of thing. Anyway, but this is set, and you can assume this will be the main event of the evening on the road to Clash in Paris. Mentioning Clash in Paris, I did want to give a nod to what happened at a very interesting show over the weekend, TripleMania 33 for AAA, of course. I thought Dirty Dom should have left with the Mega Championship. He didn't. Vikingo did, to a surprising reaction. He's sort of someone who you think, oh, well, he's just sort of a perennial babyface. And yet there was at least a certain amount of people who weren't that pleased that he retained in that four-way, which saw Dirty Dom, of course, using his steel plate in the mask, taking a note out of El Grande Americano's book. In fact, it was his sort of pal who he also hit with a steel plate along with Dragon Lee. But AJ Styles showed up to cost Dominic Mysterio, and you sense, despite the fact of their El Grande and Dom's win over Dragon Lee and AJ Styles last week, you sense this is going to be the catalyst for them to hopefully run it back in Paris for Dom's title, because it's just fun, and it's France, it's AJ Styles. It's promotional malpractice if you don't put this match on, for me. So maybe even Dom just gets so wound up tonight that he just says, I'll put it on the line. In fact, I'll fight you. Because what do you make of Dominic Mysterio? Because people have said, they've not really utilized this this wave of support behind him that we saw, obviously, with him winning the title, the IC title at WrestleMania. I still think it's there, and I think they're just in no rush to do this.
Yeah, but why rush when you've got all the time in the world? They're probably waiting for the right moment. I mean, you can't deny we were there for that. The crowd pop when he won the actual belt. It was ridiculous, wasn't it? Like, hearing that. Because I knew people were starting to sweeten to him, but that was really like, he got a bigger pop than Austin.
He did, didn't he?
He literally got a bigger pop than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It didn't feel planned that he went back. It felt like, you've got to go back.
Someone says you have to go back. You have to go back, yeah. And he also didn't crash any ATVs either. So, if anything, possibly this year. I don't know. I think that the time will come. It'll present itself, right?
Yeah.
They're probably not going to rush it. I think even just keeping a hold of it for Paris, like you say, for the dueling chance of like booing him out the building potentially still, and AJ Styles phenomenal chant. But then I guess maybe that'll be a good test of where they're at with it as well. You know what I mean? You'll probably know by then.
And I'm talking about this as if because of the chance for AJ Styles, he automatically has to take the title off him. He doesn't.
No.
Like, the fans will be happy just singing that song for AJ Styles, even if he doesn't necessarily win. But I sense the time is coming for, and that could work if Dom retains, for example, for Finn to be like, right, I've had enough of this now. I want that IC title, because he feels like he's the most in control of the Judgment Day for quite a long time now. And the way he's plotting everything out and lives out of the picture, obviously. And he's, hey, Dom, what do you reckon to this old Roxanne Perez chick, huh? You got that going on. There's seemingly some sort of budding romance between JD McDonough and Raquel Rodriguez on social media from what I've seen. People look at the way they look at each other after this triple A match. So who knows? But yeah, he feels the most in control. So you could see that suddenly making him think, yeah, I want to get a title around my waist. Well, another title, I should say.
And I suppose that would help your theory if they were going to belt up Roxanne Perez as well, wouldn't it? Like, get rid of the quote-unquote dead weight if they think about Dom, and then Finn's got a belt, she's got a belt. Well, not necessarily straight away, but in that department.
Yeah. I think Roxanne Perez is, I mean, we've sung her praises for many a year, obviously, from her time in NXT. And I got it when the boys would moan about the not ideal heelish work that she was doing. I understand that, but it is the sort of process that they all, certainly unless you're a Vaclay who is just like, well, thanks for coming in for a cup of coffee to NXT, but you're wasted here. Or Julia to a certain extent as well. It does feel like, right, those people do that. The maybe lower down stars will play a role in NXT and then move up to the main. Kiana James, for example. Love Kiana James. We'll talk more about her on the SmackDown review. But your Bron Breakkers and your Roxanne Perez, it feels like, okay, we are investing in you. We feel like you're going to be a big, big player in our main event title scene for a decade to come. So let's have you try this on at least. Even if it doesn't work, it only doesn't work in NXT, which I love NXT. It's the best show of the week for me, but I also admit it is somewhat of a proving ground and a sort of testing area for a variety of different things.
And also, it is oftentimes such a vastly different fan base, even when it was like the era that people might have considered more critically acclaimed as opposed to like the way it is now. People didn't care.
No.
At all. It's Kevin Owens. When was the first time you saw Kevin Owens?
It was the John Cena Open Challenge.
Yeah, for you, it was literally the John Cena Open Challenge. Like, Kevin Owens had been tearing it up on that roster for ages, so you can get away with these things, but they probably needed her to stay down there for a bit, didn't they? Because they needed a strong hand.
Yeah, and they always wanted that to be, when someone takes this title off her, it needs to be someone important, and they did the Julia thing, and then obviously the back air and Jordan Grace, and
even like you were saying about
now JC Jane.
Yeah. But even rushing Roxanne up, the failed launch initially tells you that there's no point in putting people up there unless you've got a place to actually put them, right?
Yeah, they just sort of chucked her up there and they're like, she's pals with Julia now. Why? I don't know. They just
wrestling. That's why.
They both got booked into debut on Raw on the same night. And are we best friends now? But it's worked out amazingly for her. I think she's been every time we write off the Judgment Day, they just tweak something, and I think it gets even better. It is. I've lost count of the amount of times, as I've said, where I've written, "Is this the end of the Judgment Day?" in my show notes, and then no. I think arguably, getting some of that cringe heel work out of her system in NXT has allowed her to become this character that she is right now, and people are loving it. And just, again, never wish any injuries on anyone, but kind of perfect timing for someone like Liv Morgan, who the fans are of.
Oh, she'll come back as well, like the hottest baby face in town, right? That's
because the opinion change on this podcast towards like Liv Morgan matches was really, really great to see. But yeah, I hope for bigger and better things for Roxanne Perez as we continue through 2025. Do you remember in NXT where there was a storyline of these wrestlers are fighting over a hat? I believe it was Kushida and Cameron Grimes, baby. Well, that's...
Where did he used to like to go, Cameron Grimes? Can you remember?
To the moon. Why hasn't he been signed by one of the two wrestling promotions?
Maybe he's been signed by someone in space.
Who knows, maybe.
He's wrestling on the moon as we speak.
But yes, there is a storied history of feuds over hats in WWE. And that looks set to continue tonight on Monday Night Raw. I joke, but I actually do really like this development for the New Day because we have, in my opinion, quite rightly bemoaned, what the hell are you doing with the New Day? From the start of 2025, you have one of the best heel turns in the last decade, in my opinion, with that harrowing moment with Kofi and Xavier and Big E. And you think, right, well, they're set up to be one of the big heel, not stables, but heel figures in WWE in 2025. And then they just kind of come out and it's sort of, a lot of it seemed to play out in the ad breaks as well of like, this town stinks. I hate this town. You should be lucky to have us here. And then they're just a bit cheaty, sort of very basic heel stuff with regards to the tag titles and the War Raiders. They win the tag titles at WrestleMania. And you think, I said at the time, okay, well, it's been a pretty rough path to get here, but they're the tag champs now. Maybe this is where we go full gear on it. No, they just cheated a bit. And then, in a great match, I will say, drop the titles to the Judgment Day. Having said that, in these past few weeks, I think they've really hit their groove. You know, Sidge was talking about...
Be honest. You just like the hat, don't you? And it's a great hat. What's not to like?
It is. I was reading notes on this for the justification for this match. It's Xavier versus Penta, by the way, tonight. This is the whole thing I'm talking about here. The New Day star says Penta owes him a whopping $18,000 for damaging what he calls his favorite hat. Mm-hmm. It was a preposterous hat. It worked really well in terms of like chucking it through the ring ropes as well. Then you had Xavier Woods with the tiny hat on Raw last week. Siege again has put over they're in mourning for losing the tag titles. I think this has really helped them. They've always been very funny, creative guys, obviously. But the whole, kiss my hand, Michael, from Kofi. I'd have Kofi on commentary for this match. He can get involved. He's going to get involved. I hope Xavier Woods wins here because they're going to get their comeuppance,
or
obviously.
Is it just going to be another DQ finish? Where they just kick his ass. Because it's Monday Night Raw, and that's how you finish the matches.
Maybe. To protect Penta, perhaps.
Unless you could just steal a win, and then just kick his ass.
Hat-based wins. Pulling a hat over his eyes so he can't see.
Over Penta's eyes.
Penta's eyes. So, goes to the mask. Mm-hmm. There's that. Although they've done a lot of that.
No one will ever see this coming. What if he just flips the mask the other way around?
Yeah, just spins
his mask and then he can't see.
Put a hat on the referee so he can't see some cheating.
Smart. Very smart. So basically pull the hat over his eyes as well. Yeah,
pull the wool over his eyes, pull the hat over his eyes, if anything. Trip him up with a hat.
Is it big enough where you could turn it sideways?
And shove it straight up your candy ass.
Straight up no, turn it sideways and obscure the referee's vision that way. Like, you know what I mean?
Easy.
Like, it's massive. Like, turn it like that, with almost like a shield.
Got like a low blow.
Yeah.
Can't see it's a low blow.
Can't see it. Or just punch straight through it. Like, fist out of nowhere.
Yeah, I like that. Or again, they've been doing loaded stuff with the mask, but a loaded hat, steel
nice,
edged.
What are you gonna do? Steel edged,
like Odd Job or something.
Chop his head off with the hat.
But I hope this is the beginnings of a New Day versus Penta and Phoenix thing down the road.
Have you, not a massive tangent, but have you watched WWE Unreal from start to finish yet?
Not to the end.
Basically, there's an episode in Heel Turn. It's not really a spoiler, but they talk about obviously Cena's heel turn, and the New Day are also on it. You know, Xavier Woods talking about their heel turn, and while you're saying they need to do something with this heel turn, based on that documentary, Adam, it seems like it was like everything's fine.
Yeah,
like they did this amazing heel turn, and it's just been great ever since. So I'm not really sure what you're complaining about, actually.
I know I'm the positive guy on this podcast to a fault sometimes. I acknowledge that. But just want to have some fun, guys. Hey. Yeah. But it is funny. It is funny seeing the way that everything's perfect and plans out and goes the exact way we wanted it to on those documentaries. And even to the extent of I was watching, or I should say I was listening to, because I was watching the pots, Ariel Helwani's chat with Paul Heyman and him sort of heaping praise on the John Cena heel turn, which ironically today, Cena's basically come out and gone, yeah, kind of a bust that, wasn't it, really? The way that they... No, actually, that went exactly the way we wanted it to, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the documentary as well.
Because again, biased... We've met Xavier Woods on several occasions, and he couldn't have been nicer. He came along to Sweet Chin Disco last time and was a very good sport with, I think, with the Glasgow crowd who were not exactly welcoming to Xavier. And he's always asking about Simon Miller when we see him. Those two nerds get on very well. But yeah, I genuinely feel disappointed on their behalf because you sense, and this is pure speculation for me, but you sense with even no Big E involved for whatever reason, Kofi and Xavier aren't turning up and just going, what are we doing this week? Slagging off the local sports team. Fair enough. And that's just in the like weird Netflix ad break. You get the feeling that they've pitched a lot of stuff. Again, Eric and Ivar as well, the Viking Raiders aren't just, we'll just sort of be this half-arsed babyface team that drops the titles to them. It just feels like it's not been a priority. And the skill of a performer, I really think, is when the booker's eye is on some other stuff and you're just sort of given basic stuff, is making that cut through on a 2-3 hour wrestling show. And just the little nuggets of creativity of like, what if we wore all black like we were in mourning for our tag titles? And then I wish I was there when Xavier Woods first saw that hat in the shop window as that scene plays out in my head.
He must have had that hat designed, surely.
Yes.
Like, but then to come up with that in his own head and for it to be like akin to a sombrero, right? So
yes.
It's not a million miles away from that. It's just a massive, massive hat. Like,
but I hope
normal head bit, just gigantic rim.
And yeah, how big would you like the rim, sir? Yes.
Yes. More.
Yeah.
More.
But I would have Xavier by hook or by crook going over Penta here. But please no more DQs. I'll bemoan that if that happens tonight as we sit here tomorrow. What else have we got on this show? Done Naomi, done Jey. Oh, it is the women's IC title match, the final thing we're here to talk about. Now, I know a lot of people think I'm going to sit here and say, oh, so last week we had Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupri. And this week we have Becky Lynch versus Natalya. No! But I will say it entirely depends as to
which one turns up,
which
right?
version shows up.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a bit of this doing the rounds over the internet on at the weekend.
I just have grown very tired of Natalya, the character. The person I have nothing against, obviously. But Natalya has sort of become the female Big Show to me in that she's been around for years and she's done everything. She's done babyface stuff. She's done heel stuff. She's done big babyface turns. She's done big heel turns. She was kind of, for a while, that person they just slot in, dependent on whether the person was a heel or a babyface, to be the sort of first defense, because she's a really reliable performer. She can't put on a sharpshooter for toffee, but she's she's great, obviously. But
no, come on, speak your truth. Don't get shy now just because the boys aren't, yeah.
Cannot remember the last time I got excited for a Natalya match. a natty match, now we are in a different conversation because...
Be honest, is she turning up at one of these Sweet Chin discos and you're going to have to be nice?
I'm going to have to answer for my sins at some point, no question.
That's what I'm
but then again, I've been ducking Chris... Well, she's been ducking me, Chris Cyborg, for how long now?
A long time. Long
6
time.
years she's been ducking me now.
Yeah.
She's gone into different sports. She's gone into boxing and stuff, hasn't she?
Maybe you should remind her.
I'm good.
Just remind her with like a little clip of you, like calling her out or something.
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
I'm fine.
You sure?
Anytime someone casually mentions it to her and I think, oh, that's, it's water under the bridge, that's a long time ago, she'll just fire back with like, next time I see you, I'm going to kill you. And I go, oh, God. It wasn't my fault. It was Phil and Cleary egging me on to respond to her tweets in the immediate aftermath of Double or Nothing.
And then you just can't resist a pop, can you? Yeah. Guilty officer, take me home.
But yeah, the natty side of things, because I very much, when Hamlet was talking about like Natalya and Bloodsport, I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I saw it and I was like, I tell you what, there's a very select few people in this business that can be around forever, and then like everyone gets tired of them, and you think, right, wrap it up, guys, and then they just cut through with something completely different. Now, I'm not saying we're getting that version of Natty on Raw tonight. I think at least not yet. Maybe this is the JWAD catalyst for all this.
Maybe
because she beat Maxine Dupree. She toyed with Maxine Dupree last week, did Becky Lynch. There's a tiny hope spot, but we all knew the way it was going to go, and I think that was the right way to do it. Post-match, again, Becky Lynch.
Hey. You all right?
Just kicks Natalya as she's checking on her mate post-match. But I'd have Becky Lynch beat Natalya, obviously retain the women's IC title, and then, I can't remember what film it's from, actually, Nicholas, but maybe Akira Tozawa or Maxine can turn to her afterwards and say, you got to get angry. You got to get mean. And then the person you're facing is called Natalya, sort of, but it's Natty, and transforms into Natty, Cactus Jack-esque for a rematch against Becky Lynch down the line.
Potentially while at the end of the match, she gets busted open by Becky. And like gets a little bit on her mouth.
What would she say though?
She would say, "Nobody makes me bleed my own blood."
And then,
who's Maxine Dupree on the scooter?
Yeah, and she can just do that as she rides off. Me and Nicholas have been watching Dodgeball a lot recently, or at least reminiscing about it, and then watching clips.
Yeah. You watched it this weekend, though, didn't you?
Cramming up your cram hole the floor.
Cramming up your cram hole the floor.
That's preposterous. I'd never allow it. Chuck Norris can get involved. That is still such a great scene.
It's incredible.
Because I forgot Shatner is the leader of the Dodgeball Association, and they have to go to the judges' vote, and it's friendly judge number one.
It's
you get 2 out of the 3, don't you?
It's a star-studded event.
Thumbs up. Grumpy old woman. Thumbs down. Ew. Oh, I all rest on this third judge. Carlton McKnight's there. Oh, who could it be? Chuck Norris. Thank you, Chuck Norris.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
Thank you, Peter.
Yar, Peter.
It still holds up, that film. It is sensational.
I'm going to have to watch it now, aren't I?
Yeah. Oh, well, this is the thing. We reminisced about it, and I was like, I've seen everything. Mm-hmm. I know all the scenes, and we've just watched a compilation of the best scenes, so what is there left? And yet...
Do you still find a gem?
It's the bit, the one that really made me laugh, because we'd watched all the best bits, basically. It's the bit, I forgot what the character's name is. Justin Long's character. Yeah.
It goes to cheerleading. Be called Justin in the film, actually.
Oh, maybe. Yes, Justin.
Justin.
I love you. Yeah. And then he goes, I love you, and gets a ball to the face. Joni loves Chachi.
Joni loves Chachi.
And then he hits the guy who's got to get angry, got to get mean. And I don't know why. Just the way he says it. He goes, you're out, 4 eyes.
That bit when he looks over at his wife and that early in the film. And just gets mad when she's getting hit on by that guy.
And his kids, now I've got kids, and his kids are like looking sad, and he's like, putting it on.
Maybe, I tell you what, I think Natalya could win you over easily if she did an entire montage where it's like her and I don't know, Maxine. Maybe Maxine's in a wheelchair because she got kicked, her ass kicked so bad. And she's motivating her. And it's just like, if you can dodge traffic,
yes,
you can dodge Becky Lynch.
You can beat Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Or just versions of that.
You've won me over.
Yeah.
Natalya to be the next women's IC champion.
Natalya
What a
to
sentence.
be the women's
Sorry,
world champion.
Natty to be the next women's IC champion.
No, just skip ahead. Because
we're going. Oh, because of
Naomi.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Yeah, first.
But we'll be talking all about it tomorrow on the review. Let us know your thoughts. I mean, it's just me and Nicholas talking to each other right now. Let us know your thoughts ahead of Raw tonight in the comment section or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Well, actually, you can follow both of us. You can follow our brilliant producer, Adam Nicholas, at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Going to be doing a Q&A, thankfully, with other people asking some questions, not just me talking to myself, a little bit later on today, live on YouTube. And we're going to be reviewing SmackDown later on today as well. But for now, this has been the Raw Preview. My thanks to Michael Hamflett, to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you soon.